Can you help me find my mum and dad? The engines fall silent. Their leader steps forward, tattoos catching the desert light. What did you say, kid? He asks. It's late afternoon at a gas station somewhere off Route 66. The kind of place that time forgot, where the pumps are rusted, the asphalt cracked, and the air tastes like dust and gasoline. The sun hangs low, painting everything in shades of gold and shadow. A small boy stands there, no older than 8. His face is streaked with dirt, his clothes wrinkled and too big for his frame. He's holding something in his trembling hand, 2 quarters, catching the last rays of sunlight. In front of him, a pack of bikers. 7 men, maybe 8, dressed in black leather and denim. Their motorcycles gleam under the dying light, engines ticking as they cool. These ain't the kind of men you approach lightly. Their arms are covered in ink, skulls, eagles, names of brothers lost. Their faces are hard, weathered by miles and choices most people never have to make. The boy takes a step forward. His voice is small, but it cuts through the silence like a knife. Can you help me find my mum and dad? The bikers exchange glances. A few chuckle, nervous, uncomfortable. One shakes his head and looks away. But their leader, a man they call Ryder, doesn't laugh. He steps forward, his boots crunching on gravel. His eyes narrow, not in anger, but in something closer to confusion. What did you say, kid? The boy holds out the 2 quarters. His hand is shaking so bad you'd think he was holding fire. I have 50 cents, he whispers. I can pay. The world seems to hold its breath. The desert wind stops. The engines go quiet. And in that moment, a question hangs in the air. One that'll decide everything that comes next. Will they help him? Or will they ride away like everyone else? Before I dive deeper, let me know in the comments where you're watching from. I'd love to hear from you. And don't forget to hit that subscribe button so you never miss any of our upcoming videos. To understand what brought this boy to that gas station, you gotta understand where he came from. His name is Eli, 8 years old, brown hair that hasn't seen a comb in days, eyes that have seen too much for a kid his age. 2 weeks ago, Eli was riding in the back seat of his parents' car. They were headed to California. New job, new life, new beginning. His dad had promised him they'd see the ocean. His mom had packed sandwiches and sang old country songs while his dad drove. They never made it. Somewhere along a stretch of canyon road near the Arizona border, they vanished. No wreckage, no bodies, no answers, just gone. Eli survived because he'd been carsick. They'd stopped at a rest area, and he'd wandered off to a bathroom while his parents argued about the map. When he came back, the car was gone. At first, he thought they'd driven off without him, some cruel joke. But hours passed, then a day, then 2. A truck driver found him and dropped him in a small town just off Route 66, the kind of place that exists on old maps but nowhere else. A handful of buildings, a diner with flickering neon, a motel that hadn't seen guests since the interstate got built 30 miles south. The locals felt sorry for him. They fed him, let him sleep in the motel storage room. But nobody did anything. Nobody called the cops, because out here, the cops don't come. Nobody went looking, because out here people disappear all the time, and asking questions gets you disappeared too. See, this stretch of desert is controlled by people who don't show up on any registry. Smugglers, traffickers, men who use the old canyon routes to move things that shouldn't be moved. And the locals know better than to get involved. So Eli waited, and he remembered something his father told him once, back when they still lived in a place where promises mattered. His dad had given him a coin, just a quarter, shiny and new. He'd pressed it into Eli's palm and said, "Son, if you ever get lost, you find good people. You pay them to bring you home. Good people still exist. You just gotta look." Eli kept that coin in his pocket, and when the second quarter came from a waitress who felt sorry for him, he knew what he had to do. 50 cents. That's all he had. That's all he could offer. So when the sound of engines rumbled through town that afternoon, Eli ran. He ran past the diner, past the motel, out to the gas station where the bikers had stopped to refuel, and he held out his 2 quarters like they were worth $1 million, because to him they were. At first, the bikers don't know what to make of him. One of them, a guy with a scar running down his cheek, laughs. Kid, you think 50 cents is gonna buy you a search party? Another one spits into the dirt. We ain't a charity, boy. A third just shakes his head and turns away, like he can't even look at the kid without feeling something he doesn't want to feel. But Ryder raises a hand. The laughter stops. What if it was your kid? He says quietly. The words land heavy. Nobody answers. Because most of these men have kids, or had them, or lost the right to see them. And every single one of them knows what it's like to be powerless. Ryder crouches down in front of Eli. His voice is low, steady. Tell me what happened. Eli does. He tells him about the car, about the canyon, about his parents and the promise coin, and how nobody in town would help because they were scared. Scared of what? Ryder asks. Bad men, Eli whispers. Men who ride through at night, men who take people. Ryder's jaw tightens. He knows exactly what the kid's talking about. This part of the desert is a pipeline, a route used by traffickers moving people and product across state lines. The local clubs stay out of it, the cops don't patrol it, and the people who disappear, they're never found. One of Ryder's guys, a man they call Ghost, steps forward. Boss, we got a rally in Nevada in 2 days. We ride now, we miss it. Another nods. Ain't our problem, man. Kid's parents probably ran off. Happens all the time. But Ryder doesn't move. He's still looking at Eli. At those 2 quarters in the boy's hand, at the dirt on his face and the hope in his eyes. We ride at dusk, Ryder says finally. Ghost frowns. Ryder, I said we ride. There's a silence, the kind that precedes either loyalty or mutiny, but then one by one the bikers nod, some reluctant, some resigned. But none of them walk away. Because that's the thing about Brotherhood. It ain't just about the men beside you. It's about the line you draw in the sand. The moment you decide what kind of man you're gonna be. And Ryder just drew his line. We'll need supplies, Ghost says quietly. And intel. Canyon routes are a maze. Ryder pulls out his phone, makes a call. Within the hour they've got a local contact. A woman who runs the diner. She's seen things, heard things. She gives them a map, hand-drawn, with routes marked in red. Y'all are crazy, she says. You know that, right? Yeah, Ryder replies. We know. As the sun dips below the horizon, the bikers mount up. Engines roar to life, a sound like rolling thunder echoing across the desert. Eli sits in the sidecar, attached to Ryder's bike, clutching his 50 cents and his father's promise. And they ride. But what the boy carried in his pocket would change everything. Night comes fast in the desert. One moment the sky is orange and purple, the next it's black as oil. The bikers ride in formation, headlights cutting through the darkness like blades. Ryder leads, with Eli tucked low in the sidecar. Behind them, the others follow in a tight line, their engines growling in harmony. The road is rough, barely a road at all really, just a dirt trail winding through rock and scrub. The canyon walls rise on either side, casting shadows that swallow the moonlight. Eli doesn't speak. He just holds onto the edge of the sidecar and watches the world blur past. His knuckles are white. His breath comes quick. But there's something in his eyes now, something that wasn't there before. Hope. They ride for miles. The map the diner woman gave them leads deeper into the canyon, away from the main roads, into places where cell signals die and GPS goes dark. Out here, you're on your own. Out here, the only law is the one you make. Around midnight, Ryder raises a fist. The convoy stops. Ahead, illuminated by their headlights, is a car. Burned out, rusted, half buried in sand. Eli's breath catches. That's ours. Ryder dismounts, boots hitting the ground with purpose. The others follow, fanning out around the wreckage. Ghost kneels by the driver's side, running his hand along the doorframe. Fire wasn't an accident, he says. Gasoline. Deliberate. Another biker, a younger guy named Flint, finds something in the dirt. He holds it up, a locket, silver, tarnished but intact. Inside is a photo of a woman, smiling, holding a baby. Eli takes it with trembling hands. That's my mum. Ryder nods slowly. His mind is working, piecing things together. No bodies, no blood, just a burned car and a locket left behind. This wasn't a robbery. It was a taking. They're alive, Ryder says quietly. Eli's head snaps up. You think so? I know so. They wanted people to think your parents died here, but they didn't burn hot enough, didn't do it right. Someone got sloppy. Ghost steps closer, his voice low. Or someone wanted us to follow. The words hang in the air like smoke. Ryder scans the darkness beyond their lights. The canyon stretches endlessly in every direction, a labyrinth of stone and shadow. Somewhere out there, in one of 100 possible places, Eli's parents are being held. And somewhere out there, someone is watching. Spread out, Ryder orders. Look for tracks, anything recent. They move like ghosts themselves, silent, efficient. Years of riding together means they don't need words, just signals, just instinct. Flint finds it first. Tire tracks, fresh, leading off the main trail toward a narrow ravine. He whistles, low and sharp. The others converge. 2 vehicles, Ghost says, crouching beside the tracks. Heavy, probably trucks, headed east. Ryder checks the map. East leads deeper into the canyon system, toward a series of abandoned mines that haven't been operational since the 70s. Perfect place to hide. Perfect place to disappear. He looks at Eli. The boy is holding the locket so tight his fingers have gone white. You stay close to me, Ryder says. No matter what happens. Understand? Eli nods. They mount up again, but this time the energy is different. This time, they're not just riding, they're hunting. The engines roar back to life and they plunge deeper into the darkness. But what they found buried beneath that locket wasn't just a clue, it was a trap. The ravine narrows as they ride, the canyon walls pressing in on both sides. The air grows colder, the darkness thicker. After another hour they see it, a faint glow in the distance. Not firelight, electric, generators. Ryder kills his engine. The others follow suit. Silence falls like a curtain. They dismount and move on foot, leaving the bikes hidden behind a rock formation. Eli stays between Ryder and Ghost, his footsteps barely making a sound. As they crest a ridge, they see what they've been looking for. A compound, makeshift, but organized. 3 trailers arranged in a U-shape around a central courtyard. Floodlights on poles. A chain-link fence, rusted but sturdy. 2 trucks parked near the entrance. And men, armed, patrolling. Ghost pulls out a small pair of binoculars, scans the scene. 5 hostiles, maybe more inside. Flint points to one of the trailers. Movement. Second window. Ryder takes the binoculars, looks. Through the grimy window, he can see shapes, people sitting, hands bound. One of them is a woman, dark hair, thin frame. Eli grips Ryder's arm. That's her. That's my mum. Ryder hands the binoculars back, his face carved from stone. We get them out. Quiet. No guns unless we have to. But then Ghost stiffens. He's looking at one of the trucks, at the insignia spray-painted on the side, a coiled snake wrapped around a dagger. Ryder, he says slowly. That's the Scorpions. The name hits like a punch. The Scorpions. A rival club. One that's been at war with Ryder's crew for years. Blood has been spilled. Brothers have been lost. Flint's hand moves to his knife. Those bastards! Another biker, a man called Reaper, steps forward. His voice is ice. They took my cousin 2 years ago, never found him. This is payback time. Ryder raises a hand. No. What? Reaper's voice rises. You're seriously gonna tell me this ain't about payback, Ryder says, his voice cutting through the tension like a blade. This is about the kid. We do this clean. We do this right. They don't deserve clean, Flint mutters. Maybe not, Ryder replies. But we ain't them. And we ain't starting a war tonight when there's innocence inside. The silence that follows is heavy. You can feel the rage simmering beneath the surface. These men have lost too much to the Scorpions. They've buried brothers. They've shed tears and blood. But Ryder's right, and they know it. Ghost exhales slowly. So what's the play? Ryder scans the compound again. We need proof. Proof that the parents are in there. Proof that the Scorpions are running this operation. Then we call it into someone who can shut it down without getting us all killed. Call who? Flint asks. Cops won't touch this. There's a Fed I know, Ryder says. Owes me a favor. But I need evidence first. They wait. Watch. And just when it seems like they'll have to make a move without intel, Ghost spots something. A phone, discarded near one of the trucks. Cracked screen but intact. I'll get it, he whispers. Before Ryder can stop him, Ghost is moving. Low, fast, shadow to shadow. He reaches the truck, grabs the phone, and slips back into the darkness without a sound. Back at the ridge, he powers it on. The battery is nearly dead, but there's enough juice. He scrolls through the files, finds a folder labeled Inventory. His face goes pale. Ryder, he says quietly, you need to see this. Ryder takes the phone. On the screen is a video, grainy, shot from inside one of the trailers. It shows people, families, bound and gagged. A man's voice in the background speaking Spanish, negotiating prices. And there in the corner of the frame is Eli's father, his mother beside him, alive, terrified. But alive. The video is time-stamped 3 hours ago. Eli sees it. His breath hitches, and he starts to move toward the compound, but Ryder grabs him. Not yet, he whispers. We do this smart. Eli's eyes are filled with tears, but he nods. Ryder scrolls further, finds another video. This one shows a man, scorpion patch on his jacket, dragging someone out of a car. The camera pans and there it is, Eli's parents' car before it was burned, and on the ground between the seats, a quarter. Shiny, new, Eli's quarter, the one his father gave him. Proof, undeniable, irrefutable. Ryder pockets the phone. He looks at his crew, these men who followed him into hell more times than he can count. We move at dawn, he says. We get the families out, all of them, and we burn this place to the ground. Ghost grins. Now you're talking. But Ryder's face is serious. No killing unless they force our hand. We're better than that. The men nod. Some reluctant, some eager, but all of them ready. Because this ain't just about revenge anymore. It's about redemption. Dawn breaks over the canyon like a promise. The sky bleeds red and gold, and the air is cold enough to sting. The bikers are in position. Ghost and Flint on the east side, Reaper and 2 others on the west. Ryder stays with Eli, hidden behind a rocky outcrop overlooking the compound. The plan is simple. Wait for the guards to change shifts, hit them fast, get the hostages out, disappear before reinforcements arrive. But plans are just words until they meet reality. At 6 a.m. the compound stirs. A door opens. One of the guards steps out, yawning, rifle slung over his shoulder. He lights a cigarette, oblivious. Ryder raises a hand. The signal. Engines roar to life. The sound is like thunder, sudden, deafening, shaking the very ground. The bikers come from both sides, headlights blazing, tires kicking up clouds of dust. The guards scramble, shouts, confusion. One reaches for his rifle, but Ghost is already on him, knocking the weapon away and slamming him into the dirt. The bikers circle the compound, cutting off every escape route. It's choreographed chaos, loud, aggressive, but controlled. No shots fired. Not yet. Ryder dismounts and strides toward the trailers, Eli at his side. He kicks open the first door. Empty. The second door. More hostages. 4 people, bound and gagged. Reaper moves in, cutting them free, guiding them outside. The third trailer. Ryder's heart pounds as he steps inside, and there they are. Eli's parents, huddled in the corner, their eyes wide with fear and disbelief. Mum! Dad! Eli tears free from Ryder's grip and runs to them. His mother sobs, pulling him into her arms. His father, hands still bound, just stares at the boy like he's seeing a ghost. Ryder steps forward, pulls out a knife, cuts the ropes. We're getting you out of here. Who are you? Eli's father asks, his voice hoarse. Just people passing through, Ryder replies. Outside, the situation is escalating. More scorpions are emerging from a hidden fourth trailer, 6 of them armed. They open fire. Ghost ducks behind a truck, returns fire. Flint tosses a smoke grenade, covering their retreat. "We gotta move," Ghost shouts. Ryder grabs Eli's parents. "Stay low, stay close." They run. The hostages, the bikers, everyone moving together in a chaotic surge toward the bikes. Bullets crack the air. Dust and smoke swallow the compound. One of the scorpions rushes Ryder. Ryder sidesteps, drives a fist into the man's gut, drops him. He doesn't stop, doesn't look back. They reach the bikes. The hostages are loaded into sidecars, onto passenger seats, anywhere there's room. Eli's parents share Ghost's bike, Eli clinging to Ryder. "Go! Go! Go!" Ryder shouts. The engines scream, and they tear out of the compound like a storm unleashed. Behind them, the scorpions scramble to their trucks, but it's too late. The bikers are already gone, swallowed by the canyon's shadows. They ride hard for 30 minutes before Ryder signals a stop. They're miles away now, deep in a different part of the canyon, safe for the moment. Eli's mother dismounts on shaking legs. She looks at the bikers, these rough, tattooed men who just risked their lives for strangers. "Who are you?" she whispers. Ryder removes his helmet. His face is streaked with dust and sweat. He doesn't smile, just nods. "Just people who still believe in promises," he says quietly. Eli steps forward, holding out his 2 quarters. His hand is steady now. "Here, I said I'd pay." Ryder looks at the coins, then at the boy. He crouches down, closes Eli's hand over the quarters. "Keep it," he says. "You already paid." Eli's father steps forward, extends a hand. Ryder takes it. "Thank you," the man says. His voice breaks. "Thank you." Ryder just nods, because what else is there to say? Ghost radios the Fed Ryder mentioned, sends the phone, the videos, the location. Within hours, a joint task force will descend on the compound. The scorpions will scatter, the trafficking ring will collapse, but the bikers won't be there to see it. They've got a road to ride. The sun is fully risen now, painting the desert in shades of amber and gold. The bikers escort Eli and his parents back to the small town, back to the diner with the flickering neon sign, back to safety. The locals come out to watch, silent, wide-eyed, as the convoy rolls in. Word spreads fast in small towns. They already know what happened. Eli's mother holds her son close. His father stands tall for the first time in days, and the boy, this small, brave boy who offered 50 cents to strangers, just watches as the bikers prepare to leave. Ryder mounts his bike. The others do the same. But before they ride out, Eli runs forward. He's holding something, a single quarter. He walks to the diner wall, pulls out a small nail from his pocket, and hammers the coin into the wood. Beside it, he tapes a photo, one someone took with their phone just minutes ago. The bikers standing together, engines silent, faces hard but kind. Ryder watches, doesn't say anything, doesn't need to. The boy steps back, looks up at him. "So people remember," Eli says. Ryder nods. "Yeah, so they remember." And then, without another word, the engines roar to life. The bikers ride out, heading east toward the rising sun. The sound of their engines fades slowly, like thunder rolling away over distant hills. The family stands in the parking lot, watching them disappear. The locals do the same, and for a moment, the whole world seems to pause, caught between the memory of what was and the promise of what could be. Inside the diner, the coin glints in the morning light. Beneath it, someone has scrawled a single line in marker. He offered 50 cents. They gave him his world back. Years later, people still stop at that diner. They see the coin, they read the story, and some of them leave their own coins beside it. Quarters, dimes, pennies. Little offerings, little promises. Because that's the thing about kindness. It doesn't just save one person. It ripples outward, touching lives you'll never know, changing hearts you'll never see. Ryder and his crew rode on that day. They made it to their rally. They lived their lives. But they carried something with them. A reminder that even in the darkest corners of the world, even when it seems like nobody cares, There's still room for good. Still room for brotherhood. Still room for redemption. Eli grew up. He never forgot those men. And when his own son asked him what it means to be brave, he told him about a desert, a canyon, and 7 men who answered a call they didn't have to answer, who stopped when everyone else rode past, who believed that 50 cents was enough. Because it wasn't about the money, it never was. It was about the promise, the one his father gave him, the one Ryder kept, the one we all carry, whether we know it or not. Sometimes the smallest offer can awaken the biggest hearts, and sometimes all it takes is 2 quarters and the courage to ask.